The next item on our agenda is my regular report as Chief Justice, summarizing some of my engagements and ongoing outreach activities on behalf of the judicial branch since our May business meeting. This reporting period began with the commencement address to the class of 2023 at UC Davis School of Law. The graduating class of 2023 included 185 JD and 51 LLM students. 71% were women, and more than 50% were students of color, and 20% were first-generation college graduates. My gratitude to Dean Johnson for the invitation to speak to the graduates and for the school's commitment to the ideals of civil rights and social justice and for its focus on public interest law. I discussed with the graduates the story of my career journey to the bench, providing what I hoped to be a few words of advice to the graduates along the way, the current challenges of unmet legal needs, the importance of care for the rule of law and oneself and others, and options of a pitch at the end, public service career. The California Department of Education hosted a meeting of the Power of Democracy Steering Committee in Sacramento. Committee Chair Justice Judith McConnell welcomed to the meeting the long-term co-sponsor of our Civic Learning Awards, State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurmond, as well as our most recent partners, Oyongo Snell and Olga Diaz, from the California Lawyers Association and the Constitutional Rights Foundation. We all share a common vision to enhance civic learning and civic engagement in California's classrooms. We discussed future opportunities for partnerships to interact with teachers and students to promote greater understanding of our three branches of government in our constitutional democracy. Superintendent Thurmond shared his focus on community participation by students and helping them to understand the importance of voting. He also shared information on the California Volunteers Program that brings greater service learning opportunities to students. Later this month, the Constitutional Rights Foundation will host a teacher training at UC Berkeley with a keynote address from Dean Chemerinsky. I look forward to the development of these partnerships and hearing more from Justice McConnell on the great progress she and the Power of Democracy Committee have made with civics in California and ensuring that the judicial branch is always a part of those conversations. Our court also had the opportunity to collaborate with Justice McConnell in an effort led by our Supreme Court clerk and executive officer Jorge Navarrete as the court continued our efforts in support of our standard 10.5, which is the role of the judiciary in the community. We welcomed 80 students from San Diego area high schools to an oral argument special session at the 4th District Court of Appeal Division I courtroom. The students had pre- and post-oral argument briefings from the local justices and attorneys in the community on the cases that they observed. And all of the justices remained on the bench after oral arguments to answer questions from the students who were all very impressive and very well prepared. My colleague on the bench and our Judicial Council Vice Chair, Justice Corrigan, was asked about the factors that we consider when coming to a decision. And she shared that during the process, we must be humble when we interpret the law, be intellectually honest, and be fair. I shared with the students that while there were plenty of challenges growing up in the rural Imperial Valley, they served to hopefully make me stronger and shaped who I am today, and that I value my family's culture and the upbringing I had in Imperial. Messages that I hope resonate with the students from the underserved communities who were present. I had the pleasure of participating in the celebration of 3 distinct mentorship and work experience programs for law school students. Judicial Council member Justice Karen Fujisaki arranged for me to participate in the ABA Judicial Intern Opportunity Program orientation here in San Francisco. The program placed 33 law students that are traditionally underrepresented in the profession with state and federal courts in the Bay Area, including the California Supreme Court, for a summer internship focusing on legal research and writing. In Sacramento, I attended the Judicial Fellows end-of-year ceremony recognizing 10 graduates who were placed with local trial courts throughout the state and with the Judicial Council. The program is a partnership between the Judicial Council and the Center for California Studies at Sacramento State University. It promotes the study of court administration and enables the fellows to share and develop their talent and skills within the judicial branch during their 10-month placements. Our Governmental Affairs Director, Corey Jasperson, served as a mentor with the program. Also in Sacramento, at the invitation of Justice Masiwala, I met with 16 law school students serving as externs with the 3rd District Court of Appeal and the Sacramento Superior Court. All are very worthwhile programs to encourage law school students and college graduates to consider careers in public service. Public service was also the theme for the 2023 Judicial Council Employee Service Milestone Awards that Millicent and I presented to 128 staff in Sacramento and in San Francisco. They had achieved milestones ranging from 5 to 25 years of service. 19 of our staff had achieved over 20 years of service to the branch. We're fortunate to have such dedicated public servants to support the work of the council. And we are also very fortunate to have access to a pool of volunteer judicial officers and court professionals to enhance the statewide administration of justice in California. There were more than 300 nominations that were received to fill 130 positions on 23 Judicial Council advisory bodies. This is a testament to the knowledge, experience, diversity, and public service values of the professionals within the judicial branch, as exemplified by the members that are seated around the boardroom table, as well as those who will serve in the near future. Governor Newsom remains active in adding to the pool of future Judicial Council advisory body members with his ongoing nominations and appointments to the bench, which represent the diverse populations we serve throughout California. During this reporting period, I chaired 6 public hearings of the Commission on Judicial Appointments. Together with my colleagues on the Commission, Attorney General Rob Bonta and Senior Presiding Justice from the relevant Court of Appeal, we held in-person, remote, and hybrid public hearings. After reviewing written submissions, hearing testimony from the nominees or appointees and their peers and colleagues, and a presentation from the Jenny Commission, we voted to confirm the following. Judge Danny Chu as Associate Justice on the 1st District Court of Appeal, Division 5 in San Francisco. Former council member Judge David Rubin as Associate Justice of the 4th District Court of Appeal, Division 1 in San Diego. Justice Lori Earle as Presiding Justice of the 3rd District Court of Appeal in Sacramento. And for the 2nd District Court of Appeal in Los Angeles, there's always more in Los Angeles, right? Mr. Gonzalo Martinez as Associate Justice on Division 7. Justice Brian Curry as Presiding Justice of Division 4, and Judge Helen Zukin as Associate Justice on Division 4. I also hosted 2 groups of participants in the Judicial Council's New Judge Orientation Program, one virtual and one in person in my chambers in San Francisco. The participants included 17 judges and 7 commissioners from 15 different superior courts. Just as we maintain open lines of communications and information sharing with our sister branches of government, we also meet regularly with our justice system partners and stakeholders. These liaison meetings facilitate ongoing collaboration on issues of mutual interest and updates on topics of common concern. I was joined by my principal attorney, Neil Gupta, chair of our legislation committee, Judge Marla Anderson, and members of the executive team and governmental affairs office. We recently met with the leadership of 5 justice system partners, the California Defense Council, Consumer Attorneys of California, the California Judges Association, the California District Attorneys Association, and the State Bar. We discussed a wide range of issues, including remote proceedings and electronic access to court records, judicial vacancies, and caseloads. Another regular part of my engagements calendar involves local, county, or statewide bar associations and organizations, including specialty, minority, and unity groups and chapters. I attended events in San Diego, Los Angeles, Sacramento, San Francisco, and Modesto, specifically to participate in events that were organized by the Tom Homan LGBTQ Law Association, the San Diego Family Law Bar Association, the Stanislaus County Bar Association, the Unity Bar Associations, the Mexican American Bar Foundation, the Civil Justice Association of California, and the Northern California chapter of the Association of Business Trial Lawyers. The events, is anyone exhausted yet? This is just since the last meeting, right? The events included a Q&A session moderated by Justice Rubin on my career path and the role of Chief Justice, opening remarks for a seminar program on family law, a keynote address at a law day lunch, participating in a panel discussion with some of my Supreme Court colleagues, Justice Jenkins and Justice Evans, on the independence of the judiciary at the Unity Bar Summit, moderated by Judicial Appointment Secretary Luis Cespedes. The keynote address at a scholarship and awards gala, opening remarks at an association's board of directors meeting, and another Q&A session moderated earlier this week by Secretary Cespedes for complex business litigation attorneys. All these events provide me with an opportunity to share the council's and the judicial branch's priorities and initiatives. And they also provide me with an opportunity to listen to the concerns of our justice system stakeholders and learn more about what is of interest to their constituents. Climate change continues to be a major concern for all of our constituents and our sister branches of government. And while I was unable to attend the Judicial Council Environmental Summit in person, I did provide pre-recorded remarks for that summit. And I'm grateful to Justices Ron Roby and Stacey Bulwer-Urey for co-chairing the event, and to our sister branches of government for funding the council's efforts. We will continue to increase expertise across the judicial branch to support water and other environmental conflict resolution, because climate change and climate science behind it is having very real impacts on our environment, access to water resources, and the people that we serve. I was pleased to be asked by Assemblymember Robert Rivas to participate in his inauguration ceremony as the 71st Speaker of the California State Assembly. I joined California's 8 statewide constitutional officers, including Governor Newsom, Lieutenant Governor Konalakis, and Attorney General Bonta, and many former House speakers, including former U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate President Pro Tem Tony Atkins. We were in the Assembly chambers with honored guests that included civil rights activist Dolores Huerta and about 30 farm workers from his district. I administered the oath of office using a 522-year-old Bible held by his very cute children, our daughter. I look forward to working with the Speaker Rivas, on legislative issues and 3-branch solutions to benefit all Californians. And finally, I, like you, celebrated our first Juneteenth state holiday. We celebrated California's diversity as a strength and honored a monumental day in our history that reminds us of the long struggle to freedom for Black Americans. And that concludes my report to the council.
I'm tired.